Hello everybody, this is me Qua, and today we'll be reviewing Transformers Universe Dirge. And I'll just adjust the camera. And yeah, so Universe Dirge was in a 2-pack with, I believe, Roadbuster, who is a repaint of Cybertron Defense Hotshot. I want to say he could have been packed in with another Cybertron character if I'm wrong. Because I know there was another 2-bat with Rat-Bat repainted. Or no, not Rat-Bat. With Cybertron Sideways repainted as Rat-Bat. Oh yeah, that one was a Springer. Although I don't remember who Springer is a repaint of though. It'll probably come to me later. I know it wasn't that Blades mold. At least I don't think it was. Anyways, we'll just get on with the review. And yeah. I am glad we're now talking about a figure that is much simpler than what I've been talking about lately. Cybertron. Oh, I love Cybertron. The designs are just like peak. Although I will say his ratchets on his legs are kind of fucking scuffed. If you want him to get him like looking like he's standing properly, you pretty much gotta bend his legs like a chicken. And yeah, it's a little less noticeable because the sides are black, so yeah, you kind of notice a little, but yeah, that's a weird quirk of this mold, I think. Hold on, let me okay, I can get him straight a little. You just kind of gotta adjust the feet. Luckily his heels keep him up pretty good, but yeah, we'll get a good look at that noggin. Very nice head sculpt. It is a repaint of the Galaxy 4 Starscream, which was the same size, which this is like Voyager. Because in the US, Starscream, they decided to make him fucking huge and give him a crown. And yeah, I was not a fan of that. And I never got this mold. I had a chance to pick up the smaller one that came with Vector Prime. Never did. And that was something I never really was like, oh, torn up about. But I did get, the reason why I did get this version of the molds, because I do kind of like Dirge's color schemes, and I do think they look pretty fucking baller in this mold. I really wish they did a Voyager-sized fucking Ramjet on this mold, because Ramjet's colors would look fucking beautiful. I know they did that Legends class one, which, oh, that figure looks fucking fantastic. Really wish they did that on this bigger one. But yeah. Anyways, without further ado, we're going to get into articulation. So arms, if you're not holding the gun, they get a 90. If you're holding the gun, it gets less than a 90. Arms rotate all the way. You get about that much movement in the arm just due to the design. I'm sure now you could probably move it out a little more to get a little more, and then you could probably do like a faux thing if they don't do the cyber key gimmick. Which, oh yeah, speaking of that, you shove this thing in here and the swords come out. And there's a missile that's supposed to launch. Mine was missing the missile. Got this for like $25, so pretty good. Oh yeah, unlike the big one, they're both swords. Because on the big one, I believe one of them was a gun. I preferred the 2 swords, if I'm being completely honest. Because he has a gun, so it does make sense to have another gun. Just my thing. I heard the reason why this whole back area is so fucking humongous was because there was supposed to be actually a sound gimmick on here, but they just gutted it. They, like, at the last minute, Takara decided not to do it. And yeah. But I believe the leader class one does have the sounds. Or not the leader, the Supreme class one does have the sounds. So, yeah. It's like they abandoned it on the smaller one, but then kept it on the bigger one. And then I believe these did move as well on the bigger version, whereas on the Voyager, they do not. But yeah. So that's articulation. Oh yeah, and his head rotates. Forgot about that. Due to how he transforms, there's no waist articulation. Of course, you can move the legs. You can move the legs up that far, but then they're going to hit the cannons. But they can go back quite far. And then you got pretty good knees. Mostly due to transformation, but yeah. Hey, can't complain about what you got. So, pretty nice, pretty nice. We're going to take the cyber key out. I'm going to fold the weapons back in. I like the smoky gray. I think that was a good choice. I would have preferred this like a purple, but hey, it works. But yeah, we're going to get into transformation, so take off the weapon, move that shit to the side. Oh, and the thing to note, the Decepticon symbol is a Bayverse Decepticon symbol, whereas it's supposed to be that. Don't know why they did that. Suppose it was because the movies are fresh off the line, and that's probably what they had for tampos, but just find it kind of weird. Anyways, fold in the feet. Boop, 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 boop. Like so. Looking nice. Now you want to detach that. Okay, move the legs. Move that. Move that. Okay. Then you want to tab those in together like so. Alright. Boop. Boop. Alright, there we go. There we go. Perfect. And yeah. There is his transformation. It's pretty simple. Simple but effective. And this was technically the first Tetra jet we got in. I put that in air quotations because it still looks like a regular jet, but it's kind of in that vague shape. And this design, I believe, is what would inspire the War Within look, which would kind of hit more into that Tetra jet, but it was still very much inspired by the Cybertron design. It rolls pretty good. The weapon attaches right there. There's a 5mm port right there. You just peg the handle to there and boop. Missile would be sticking out, but since you don't have the missile, it kind of hides better. And of course, if you're wondering, cyber key gimmick still works. Don't know why you would want. That's the only time where I'm like, okay, the gun makes sense, because like if you're in vehicle mode, you'd want kind of guns and not giant swords. But then considering he does have like a gun underneath there and then two right there, he's pretty well armed anyways. And if you count those as missiles, then yeah, you got that. But yeah, it's very nice. It's a very good color scheme for this mold. And it's the mold, if you can find this pretty cheaply on the aftermarket, I would say this mold, you shouldn't pay more than $30. Or 35 to be precise. I wouldn't pay more than that for this mold. At least this particular paint scheme, or the thrust, or the 2-pack US paint scheme, which is kind of thrust colors. Of course, if you're going for the BotCon one, that one's going to be ungodly expensive, and I would not recommend buying the BotCon one, which is Shattered Glass Starscream. And then the Galaxy Force Starscream, when I have seen it, it's usually like $100 to $200. I wouldn't recommend that for you guys. Me personally, if I could find it for lower than those prices, I'd probably snag it. But for me, it's a little too much. But yeah, I would like to own that mold eventually, or that version of the mold eventually. It'd be a nice piece in my Unicron Trilogy display. And I'll throw him in there just because it's still a Cybertron mold, and I think he'd still fit pretty well with everybody. And I honestly do want to back catalog Cybertron, so it'd be kind of cool getting the Thundercracker and Skywarp, which were not the same version of this mold. There was a Skywarp of the Legends class version of this that was a convention exclusive at different conventions. I got mine at San Diego Comic-Con. But yeah, but there was a Skywarp repaint of the Cybertron Thundercracker mold, which is a deluxe class figure. We might talk about this on the channel. Depends if I get Thundercracker or Skywarp first. But yeah, and there was a repaint of that in the first movie line, but that thing looked atrocious, color scheme wise. But yeah. Anyways. this is a pretty easy recommend for me, for you guys. That's a fun mold. I like converting it. The ratchets are nice. And there's not much to complain about other than articulation, but to be fair, it's more posable than most Unicron Trilogy shit. So, yeah. As was what Cybertron was. But there are definitely better Cybertron toys, but I don't know. There's just something very satisfying how it looks in both modes, and then just those ratchets are nice. Anyways, this has been me, Kwa, signing out here. You guys have a good one. Peace.